ConsumerHallaTV. ConsumerHallaTV.
At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our Consumer Hala brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free. ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
Force and PF for the detail that punishment for not having a valid tinted permit for motorists include payment of a fine or imprisonment for up to 6 months, both as the case may be. Also penalties for offending without a valid permit, that is, if drivers drive without tinted windows without a permit, they will face the following on conviction with fine of 2,000 naira and imprisonment up to 6 months, or both. Moreover, remember the IGP, the Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, postponed the enforcement of the tinted permit to August 12 from an earlier date as announced in June. Meanwhile, the postponement was due to the outrage following the announcement of the permit to enable Nigerians to put their documents in order. Let's move away from the NPF, the Nigerian Police Force, and let's focus our attention now to Imo State. In the East, the Imo State government at the weekend unveiled its own digitized mass transit program under its transformative innovative program. The innovation would kick off with cutting-edge bus terminals at 3 locations to enhance and transform public transportation at all nooks and crannies of the state. In a statement released yesterday by the Speaker. Now we pack a luggage and we leave Imo State now to other stories. The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has launched a new electronic invoicing solution to transform how businesses pay taxes in Nigeria, a move that will make tax compliance faster, easier, and more transparent. The executive chairman of FIRS, Dr. Zach Adediji, made this known through Dari Adekombi, a special advisor on media, Dari Adekombi, in Abuja yesterday. Zach Adediji said that the e-invoicing solution went live on the 1st of August, following a successful pilot phase which began in November 2024, and the large taxpayers which are companies with an annual turnover 5 billion naira and more are expected to be the first to be onboarded on the platform. He also said in less than 2 weeks of the initiative going live, not fewer than 1,000 companies representing 20% of over 5,000 eligible firms have so far embraced the solution and commenced integration with the FIRS and BS platform. Still pressing further on the news, MTN Nigeria became the first taxpayer to transmit live electronic invoices to the FIRS, officially ushering in the e-invoicing regime. While Nigeria and IHS Nigeria have also concluded test transmissions and are set to go live in the coming days. It's time now to take some happenings in Akwa Ibom State, where the state governor Rumo Eno has now released the sum of 492 million to 1,187 youth to assist them in trading, farming and equipment support, stressing that the massive grant was to encourage entrepreneurship among youth in the state. Meanwhile, a breakdown showed that 276 out of the number benefited from the Rise Farmers Grant, and not fewer than 628 persons also benefited from the Arise Traders Grant. Furthermore, 263 persons benefit from the Arise Equipment Support Scheme, while 8 persons benefited from the 5 million naira Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Grant. Just as 12 persons got cars and minibuses. Speaking at the Uyo Township Square at the Ibom Hall grounds in Uyo over the weekend, the governor disclosed that within the 2 years of his administration, 116 including roads, health centers, compassionate homes, elderly homes and primary schools have been executed across the federal constituency made up of Uyo, Iran, Nis Atai and Igbesipo Asutan local government area. The governor also commended the people of Uyo for the massive turnout, saying the attendance was inductive of their status as the landlords of government house, even as he appreciated Prince Enobonkuwa, the secretary to the state government, for leading its people to unite with the center. That's a job well done in Akwa Ibom State. Kudos to the state government over there. Now the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has announced that it has begun receiving 4,000 compressed natural gas powered trucks for its fuel distribution program, which is set to officially commence on August the 15th. In accordance to statements released yesterday, the company said the project aim is to transform Nigeria's fuel distribution system by lowering logistics costs and improving supply efficiency. Meanwhile, the fleet being imported through Apapa port represents an estimated of 720 billion naira capital investment. The first batch of trucks is now being delivered to the refinery site in Ibeju, Lekki, and was received by Dangote Industries Vice President of Oil and Gas, Devakuma Redwin, alongside refinery staff and customers. Still talking on the news with Group Chief of Branding and Communications, Anthony Chijena, described the development as a groundbreaking step for Nigeria's downstream petroleum sector. That's a good one there also. Now let's tell you that the Raw Materials Research and Development Council has stated that Nigeria must reduce the dependence on imported raw materials by at least 60% within the next 5 years if it is to become an industrial powerhouse. The Director General of RMRDC, Prof. Unyanyelugo Ike Munoso, made the call on last week Tuesday in Lagos State during the 2025 edition of the Nigeria's Manufacturing and Equipment and Nigerian Raw Materials Expo, where described the country's high import bill for raw materials, which is an amount of 4.53 trillion naira the first 9 months of 2024. Still on the newsline, according to the RMRDC boss, the way out of the dependence on imported input is to reduce foreign raw materials import by at least 60% in the next 5 years and increase the use of local resources. He explained further that it is clear that to reposition Nigeria as an industrial powerhouse, there must be a reduction in foreign materials import by at least 60% in the next 5 years and significantly increases local resource utilization, citing statistics. Meanwhile, Ike also noted that Nigeria's manufacturing sector contributed only to 9.62% to the gross domestic product (GDP) the first quarter of 2025, a drop from the 9.8% recorded in the same period of 2024. Thank you for stepping there. This is ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. We appreciate you for being there with us. Over to bank matters now. Sterling Bank has announced the first recipient of a 2 billion naira Beyond Education Scholarship, a nationwide initiative designed to fund university education for 600 exceptional young Nigerians and also to connect them to future careers in high-impact sectors. In a statement released last week Thursday, the bank said that the initiative reflected a major step in its commitment to long-term inclusive national development through strategic investment in human capital. The Beyond Education program is built not just to provide scholarship, but to create real-world pathways to employment and socio-economic mobility. However, it was launched in June 2025, and the scheme fully covers undergraduate tuition to forward-looking accredited institutions, Miva Open University, Nigeria's first licensed online private university, and EUSAD University of Science and Technology, a STEM-centered campus in Ekiti State. Still pressing on the news, also Beyond Education is intentionally designed to support Nigeria's critical development agenda. It aligns with Sterling's strategy and investment framework focused on health, education, agriculture, renewable energy, and transportation. That's quite impressive. They're still within the bank industry. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, disclosed that it is considering legal actions against the violators of the foreign exchange forward contract after the completion of a forensic audit of those contracts. CBN indicated this about last week Thursday in a document titled Frequently Asked Questions on the Settlement of Undelivered Forward Contracts published on its website. The document revealed that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, is reviewing appropriate legal action against parties found to have violated applicable rules and regulations based on the findings of the forensic audit. The bank will collaborate with law enforcement and regulatory agencies to pursue civil, administrative, or criminal sanctions as necessary. And meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Mr. Olaya Mikadosu, had earlier revealed that the Apex Bank hired a comprehensive forensic audit of all transactions, while the outcome of the audit by the Central Bank of Nigeria said the audit uncovered significant irregularities in the execution of some of the foreign exchange forward contracts. And now each finding was based on objective and verifiable data, and all affected counterparties were allowed to respond before final decisions in validating this contract, as they were made. Good to be back again here. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has resumed the sale of premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, after a one-week suspension with a revised ex-depot price of 890 per litre, up from the previous rate of 820 per litre. This represents a 3.66% or 30% increase in the ex-depot price, raising fresh concerns about potential hikes in pump prices across the country. The updated price, tracked via the industry platform Petroleum Price, became effective last week Thursday as loading activities resumed at the 650,000 barrels per day facility located in the Lekki Free Trade Zone in Lagos State. However, last week's report showed a sudden halt in petrol sales at the multi-billion-dollar facility, a move that created uncertainty across the downstream market and triggered price volatility nationwide. In a notice titled Important Update on DPRP Collection Accounts for PMS, a Dangote refinery instructed marketers to halt all payments for PMS loading at its gantry, effectively freezing further relocations. And it says, please be advised that effective immediately, all payments to the DPRP collection accounts for PMS gantry should be placed on hold, the internal memo reads. Further updates will be communicated shortly, as said by the Dangote refinery. And now let's talk safety matters. A coalition of more than 80 civil society organizations, farmers, researchers, and advocacy groups has accused Nigeria's key regulatory agencies of sending conflicting signals about the safety of modified organisms, warning that such inconsistencies threaten public health, the environment, and the nation's food sovereignty. The group, including the Health of Mother Red Foundation, Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth Nigeria, and the GMO-Free Nigeria Alliance, said the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control with the National Biosafety Management Agency have failed to produce credible, independent and long-term studies to justify the current positions that GMOs are safe for consumption. The criticism follows a recent statement by Prof. Mojisola Adeyeye, NAFTA Director General, who declared during an interview on national TV on the 8th of August 2025 that GMOs are not harmful to human health if safety protocols are followed. Meanwhile, Prof. Johnson Ekpere, an independent consultant and GMO-Free Nigeria Alliance convener, said the agencies have not shown any credible feeding studies to back their claims, citing an Iranian study where rats fed GMDR Niminobasi. However, Niminobasi, Home Health Executive Director, also warned that the dangers of GMOs go beyond health risk, where he pointed to some reports from Nigerian cotton farmers who say their soils no longer support conventional crops after 3 years of planting genetically modified cotton. It's a wrap on ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. Before we go this morning, let's bring you the major headlines we took when we started the news again. This morning, we told you motorists to spend 6 months in prison over tainted permits from Tuesday. We also took you to Imo State on the headline this morning, where the Imo State launches digitized mass transit program, new bus terminals over there in the state. That is quite commendable there. We also told you this morning on the headline, now recapping it again, the Dangote refinery received first batch of 4,000 compressed natural gas trucks. That is quite interesting. Thank you so much for being there at ConsumerHallaTV News at 8. I am Iri Ayomi Kunle Ekele. Join me on the hour of 12 for media news. Please stay with us. Good morning once again.
Hey there, do you know in the world today, everyone is a consumer, and as consumers, we all have the right to be heard.
In Nigeria today, as a consumer, you have all right to product information, right to fair pricing, right to return goods, right to product labeling, right to fair dealings, and a lot more.
Well then, have you heard about the new media channel?
ConsumerHallaTV.
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 At ConsumerHallaTV, our goal is to inform and educate consumers in Nigeria with insightful news alongside development within the fast-paced world of consumers through well-researched, specialized, and analytical content.
Our vision at ConsumerHallaTV is to create an engaging platform that provides right connections for meaningful brands in Nigeria, thus creating a more caring world for consumers where business thrive.
And guess what? Our ConsumerHalla brand is the first consumer complaint resolution portal in Nigeria, powered by a 72-hour feedback mechanism. We offer consumer advocacy, informative talk shows, branding promotions, advertising, and lots more. Connect with us via our YouTube channel at ConsumerHallaTV. Follow us on our Facebook page, ConsumerHallaTV, our Instagram page, ConsumerHallaTV, and do also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscription is free, ConsumerHallaTV. At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
At ConsumerHallaTV, you deserve to be heard.
My name is Tunde Olufowora. I'm the CEO of Bandai Communications. We are the we call the publisher or the owner of the new initiative called ConsumerHallaTV. ConsumerHallaTV is actually Nigeria's first consumer-centered, or call it consumer-centric television platform that aims to bring voice to the over 220 million Nigerians. It was a vision that came to my heart about 10 years ago. I remember that I was traveling. I traveled out of the country, on airline, and I had this unpleasant experience. It was a trip to an African country from Nigeria, and I actually went with a local flight from Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention the name of the airline, and then it was to South Africa, and we landed in South Africa, and let me just paraphrase it. When I was coming back, I had some money, some dollars, and that someone had given to me to hand over to another person in Nigeria. So I wanted to help out. I didn't want to carry the cash on myself. So for whatever reason, I opted to. I had a small case, and I felt that it was safer for me to put the money in my luggage. So I put it in a safe place in my luggage, got everything intact, and I checked in my luggage. My arrival in Nigeria, I was standing and was waiting by the carousel just so that I could pick up my luggage, and then I was there for 1 hour and waiting for my luggage. I didn't know that my luggage already arrived, and it was one of the luggage that was moving around on the carousel. So after about 1 hour wait, I looked to my left and my right. Almost everybody had gone. I think there were just about 2 or 3 left. So I beckoned on the woman that was on my side, and I noticed she was really in tears. Madam, what happened? She said, her bag has just been torn and a lot of things stolen. So I said, well, I've also been waiting for my own. She said, you better go and check those luggages there. Maybe yours is one of them. And lo and behold, I went around there. Mine was one of them. By the time I got it, everything inside my luggage was gone. All the valuable things there were gone. To cut the long story short, we felt there was need for us to report the case, at least to the airline. It was in the night, about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. We went in to go and see the officer that was in charge. As soon as we got in there, the officer said, "Oh, so sorry, but you will have to go to our head office in somewhere in Victoria Island, to lodge a complaint." Okay. So the next day we went to the Victoria Island and we lodged a complaint, and that was it. And since that day, I'm talking a story of over 10 years ago, I didn't get a call, not even a call from that airline to talk to me about what happened to my luggage. Now, about a month after that trip, I had another opportunity to travel out of the country. This time around it was to US, and it was an official assignment. And I flew on, I will mention the airline this time around. I flew on a BA. I really didn't like BA. I usually go with Virgin Atlantic and things like that. But my protocol officer convinced me and said, "Okay, you will love BA. Why don't you go on BA?" Anyway, so I went on BA to US. And of course, when I returned from US to Nigeria, we had to do, of course, there'll be like a connecting flight from Heathrow. So we got into London Heathrow, and then because it was through Heathrow that we went, and then so they changed since it was BA, they changed the aircraft this time around to a bigger one. I mean, clearly because there were more Nigerians, or more people that were planning to come to Nigeria, and then we boarded. Not quite 10 minutes into the flight, in the air, the aircraft started malfunctioning. The air conditioning compartment were not functioning very well. I was on what you call business economy. The whole of that business economy, all the way to economy side, the ACs were not working well. It was hot, and then I was watching, and then from that moment till we got to Nigeria. From that moment till we got to, I'm just trying to paraphrase. From that moment till we got to Nigeria, I could remember very well how many times the pilot, broke into conversation and had to apologize and say, "We're really very sorry about this." He was giving us almost every 30 minutes. There's always a kind of update. "So sorry, this is what we're doing now, this is what we're doing." While we were on that journey, I also remember an incident. So they came, the crew apparently couldn't resolve they couldn't manage the crisis or what was going on about it. They couldn't fix it. So they came up and said, "We're so sorry, but for all the inconvenience, we're declaring, free lunch, free whatever it is you want, you can get." So trust Nigerians, you need to hear how everybody was jubilating, But something struck me. The experience I had just about a month before, and this experience, somehow I started comparing them. I was trying to see how this matter will be managed. Again, to cut the story short, we landed in Nigeria on the BA. Before we landed, the pilot announced and said that for the inconvenience, they will be giving a voucher of £50 to everyone that flew on that aircraft. I thought it was a joke. I mean, it was my first time with BA, but for what I knew or know of the British man would never even play with his 1 penny, talking of £1. So I felt that must be a joke of the year. So we left. I got back to my office. I think it was just about a week after. My officer, our guys in our mail room came up and said, "Oh, you have a parcel." So I said, "Parcel? Yeah." So they brought this parcel wrapped. I opened it, and boom, I brought the document out. It was the £50 voucher from BA. So what's the tenor of this story? An experience with one airline was terrible, no apology. An experience with another one, even though it was a bad experience, but it was very well managed. So managed that even if we have suffered anything in that aircraft, you probably, for the sake of how they manage it, will have forgiven them. So that was how this journey started. So I started thinking, my mind, this is what we go through in this country. But are we different from other nations? So God put in my heart the idea of ConsumerHalla. That's why the Hala came with consumer. And we started that journey about 10 years ago. We started by creating a platform called ConsumerHalla, where consumers, so I discovered that Nigerian consumers don't have a voice. So things happen, and that's it. We live with everything. So we've started the journey from creating the platform. We have an app, we even have a magazine, and we thought we could move it from that to the next stage, which is the television. So the TV today, has come. So I would say precept by precept, line upon line, we have been able to build on our aspiration, to finally bring to birth this unique and exciting platform, So it's a digital telecast, and our goal is to further connect consumers in Nigeria to brands with insightful news, development within the fast-paced world of consumers. The world of consumers is growing at a very fast pace, So we want to inform Nigerians. We want to get them educated about their rights, So our role is that we're going to educate consumers in Nigeria. All right. So by bringing them specialized and what you call analytical, research-based content generation that will inform, educate, sensitize the audience, So that's ConsumerHallaTV. So I call it an offshoot of our ConsumerHalla brand. ConsumerHalla brand actually was the first we call it the first complaint or consumer complaint resolution portal. When we started it about 10 years ago, or about 7 years ago, it became the first complaint resolution portal. We created it so that Nigerians can actually lodge complaint on that portal. We spent a lot of resources to build a very robust platform where today, if you have any complaint, about any brand, any leading brands in Nigeria, and you go on that platform, you can actually click, just a click, you can find the brand, you can actually lodge your complaint, and once you submit it, that complaint will be routed to that organization, and within 72 hours, we will obtain feedback for you. We'll build it in
It's another beautiful morning, and you're welcome to another beautiful episode of Market Today on ConsumerHallaTV. I am Matilda Omenai. As you already know, Market Today is a show where we'll be visiting different markets across Nigeria to check, track, and compare the prices of different commodities in the market. And today I am live at Irepodu Market, located at Mushin, Lagos, to check, compare, and try the prices of different foodstuffs, ranging from tomatoes to fish to cow leg to different kinds of meats and different foodstuffs in the market. So come with me as we find out. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Aboy Augustine.
So what do you sell in this market?
Okay, as you can see, I'm selling foodstuffs such like egusi, ogbono, crayfish, pepper, and even grounded egusi also.
Okay, so how has business been since the beginning of this year?
Okay, well, to tell you the truth, people, some of this stuff have been so expensive. They have been increasing almost every month, almost every time. But by the special grace of God, some of it have begin to reduce little by little. Because right now, as something is coming out from farm, this is harvesting period, so the price is reducing gradual by gradual. So by the grace of God, like egusi now is reducing little by little, and also this pepper reduce more. Some other things is just like before.
Now, speaking of the price reducing, can you give us a breakdown of the prices of the things you sell? Let's start from egusi. How much is egusi? How do you sell your egusi?
Okay, before a derica of egusi, a derica of egusi before from beginning of this year was 16, 17, 18. But right now you can get it 15, and this small one 14 for now. Then pepper. We started pepper this year was 5,000 per derica, but now you can get it 25. You understand? The price reduced, and even this Cameroon pepper self, beginning of this year, the price was 5,005, but now you can get it for 4,000. This one, the price before beginning of this year was even 3,500, but now you can get it for 2,500. So the price is reducing little by little. We don't know about yesterday, but we don't know about today. We don't know about tomorrow, but for today, this is the price for now.
Okay.
We don't know about what will happen tomorrow, but for now, that is the price.
Okay. So now, when you were telling us the price, you said this is the big one and that's the small one. What's the difference between the two?
Okay, well, you don't have. There's nothing different. There's not much different there. It's just that this one is more well known than this small one. But this small one you see used to rise very well
Really?
than this bigger one. And that's just the difference. But some people know this one very well than the other one. Not everybody knows that small one, but that small one is very nice too. It's okay too.
Okay. So for how long have you been in this business?
I've been in this business for many years, so yes, I've been in this business more than 20 years now. Mm, I've been in this business more than 20 years now. This is where I make my living. This is where I make my daily pay. This is where I do everything as a man. This is where I've been feeding my family, doing many things I'm doing as a man. So, and the business have been favoring me. So everything have been going very successful by the special grace of God. The
Okay,
business is nice.
Okay, so now you said you've been doing this business for how many years? If you compare the previous years and this particular year now,
Yeah.
how will you qualify it? How is the business now? Is it better than before, or was before better than now?
No, before is better than now. The the kind of profit we make before is very very even far different than now. Very far different. Before a bag of egusi after selling it finish, the profit you make will be even more than the cost price. But now you struggle to even have small profit on it. So the difference is far, you know, the difference is very far.
So do customers still come like before?
Not like before. Everything is just very dull, but we glorify the name of the Lord that we are doing little by little.
So what are the challenges you face selling this particular foodstuffs, these food items in this market?
Well, I don't have much challenges. Sometimes the greatest challenges we have is capital. Because capital, I believe that capital is business. That's what boosts business. You understand? To make business grow fast and boost very fast, you must have capital. And that's just the most challenge, the greatest challenges we are having. You understand? Without that, everything, the business is a very nice business. I like it because this business, you can even send it abroad. They're exporting it. They're exporting pepper. They're exporting this. Exporting ogbolo. They're exporting all these things. All these items you see here. They export it. But if you don't have capital, there's nothing you can do. So we are just managing with a little amount we have. But we thank God we have been pushing it gradual by gradual. So we believe that one day we will go greater heights.
So if you could tell the government to do one thing for you right now concerning the things you sell, what would that be in this market?
Well, if government can, if government can make the business grow more than this, because some people are even warehouse selling this. Some people are in different kind of place. Some people are doing it storage, because all these things is something that you can store, and when the price come up, you can now sell and make a better profit than retailing it like this. So there is many ways to do this business in a larger way. So if the government can help to grow the business, I'll be very, very grateful and I'll be very, very happy. and even including any other person that will participate on that, because I believe I will not be the only one that will gain this thing from the government.
All right,
So
thank you. All right, thank you very much, sir.
you are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, ma. How you doing?
I'm fine, I'm cool.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Miss Babatunde Abosede.
So what do you sell in this market?
I'm selling pepper. Different kind of pepper like tomato, tatashe, atarodo, and tomato.
Okay, so how has the business been since the beginning of this year?
The business is very fine, cool, but there is sometimes that is very costly. So in the market, so we have to face a lot of things there, but we still have the endurance to sell it.
Okay, so can you give me like the price of the pepper and tomatoes you sell? Give me, how do you sell them?
So like tomato now, we have the Hausa one has gone. So there is the one that the Yoruba one is selling now. So that is the one that we are buying now because that one is very much now. This is the season that the tomato come out. So that is the one that we are facing now that we are selling. So the tatashe, that one soon have gone. But with times it will come out. Atarodo, we are selling this atarodo. So and shombo. This shombo is the long stick one. So
Okay, so can you give me the price? How do you sell it?
so the price of shombo, we start from 500 naira. 500 naira, 1,000, 5,000, and the basket one, we do sell basket like 10,000 naira.
Really?
Yes.
So like, where do you get yours that you sell from? That you buy from, sorry.
I told you that we are selling the shombo. Is the Hausa people. They want to pass. Is the Hausa people that in my 12. We go and buy shombo in the at my 12. So like this atarodo, we buy it from the Yoruba now, but the Yoruba one have come out now. So we buy atarodo here in Mushin. They bring it from village. So we sell we buy atarodo here and tomato. But all this tatashe and shombo, we buy it at my 12.
Okay, so now you said there's Yoruba own and there's Hausa own. What's the difference?
You know, me, I don't really know the difference, but the tomato, there is a lot of difference between the Hausa one and the Yoruba one. Because that Yoruba Hausa one is very thick. If you cook it, it's very thick and fine. So the Yoruba one is watery, but people still like it too because it's many, it's much, it's not costly.
Okay. With the prices you've told me now, if you compare it to last month, has the price increased or reduced?
The price is very cheap now than last month own.
Wow.
Because we are in the season now. So it's everywhere now, everywhere. The Yoruba one, the Yoruba one, not the Hausa one, is everywhere. So if you go even around the street, you see it everywhere. So it's very much.
So are there any challenges you face selling these tomatoes and pepper in this market?
No, you do. There is many people that is selling it, so you have your own customer. So I join selling it. So it's not. All the challenge that we face is when it's very cost. So there is no profit there. So we normally short when it's very costly, but now there is much, so we enjoy selling it.
So speaking of customers, you still have customers like before?
We are having customer. We have customer every day. We have new customer.
Okay. So is there anything you want the government to do for you in this market?
The government really tried. They help us to do our road. So likewise before, it's very rough. Even motor cannot pass this road. But now they have really do it for us. They have tried the road. So the only help that I want the government to do is that to just provide a lot of money for the farmers so that they can pump money into that agriculture so that we have a lot of pepper so that there will not be the season that will be very scarce, that we just sometimes we not be able to buy markets at my 12. They will not bring it from the Hausas and the northern district to the southern area. So they should help us to. They should give the farmers money, so that they can able to invest in the agriculture area. That is all.
Alright. Thank you very much, ma. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, ma. I'm doing fine.
Okay, so what do you sell in this market?
This place na Mushina.
So what do you sell?
Na meat and skin.
Okay, what kind of meat do you sell?
Cow meat, the head. This one is tongue.
Like, what's the price? How much do you sell it?
Say you want buy full one, be one like this. Say na only one be like full one.
The full one and one. Tell us the price.
Oh, before the full cow head. Woman day, man day. Then they buy the woman like a 13,000 before. The man, then they buy the man like a 50,000. But now the woman wey they buy 13,000 before, e don go in 80,000 now. Na 80,000 buy this one like this. Na woman be this, so 80,000. The man wey they sell 50,000 now before, then they sell at 130, 150 now. So
what's the difference between man and woman?
the woman e dey strong if you no fry am well well, e no go soft. But the man, if you just cook am, e go done.
Okay.
So the better two of them get the one wey dey better. The better one I be the man wey cook am go soft. No be the one woman wey go buy wey go dey fry am go instead yourself.
So how has business been since the beginning of this year for you?
I dey thank God o, because everything don scatter but I dey thank God I dey eat o. Before I say I buy market I dey see gain. Now I just dey manage o. So
Okay, so where do you buy it from?
from Abattoir.
Okay. So like, how do they sell it to you?
They just kill am down. I go reply anyone wey I want for there. The person wey dey sell shaki, the inside e dey different. Person wey dey sell the head, e dey different. Person wey dey sell the this thing like this, e dey different. So me wey I dey sell this cow head like this now, I no fit sell the shaki inside. I no fit sell am. Na different work.
Okay. So do customers still come like before?
Customer dey come na, but you know say everything as you end of year dey scatter. Everybody dey manage. Customer wey dey buy meat like a 20,000 before, dey buy like a 10,000, 8,000 management. So I thank God, sir.
As our last month, did you sell it for this same price?
No, na every day something dey cost na.
What's making it increase?
I no know. Tell you sef dey Nigeria. We na 12 day dey Nigeria na. Na 12 day dey Nigeria na. See, before wey I dey sell market, wey I start with, where I dey name this work, I dey sell this tongue like this. This tongue like this, I sell am 600, 700. But now, if you no get 8,000, you no fit buy am. See now, as e go up. See egg wey dem sell egg 50 na before. All of them now, if you no get 350, now you no go fry egg one. So na so all of them dey go. So na God go bless us. Nigeria don spoil too much.
Is there anything you want the government to do about it?
As e dey small wey my mommy dey tell me say, tomorrow go good o. Every day you see dey go far. You no good like that talk. So I no fit talk say make government do anything. If the government wan enter, go dey do say go do us better. If you don enter like this, e go scatter everywhere.
So tell us your name again and what you sell in this market.
My name is Opeyemi na. Opeyemi, I'm selling cow head. Cow head na I'm selling.
Alright. Thank you very much, Mr. Okweyemi. We have heard what Mr. Okweyemi has to say concerning the meat he sells in this market. He has explained that he sells cow head and cow tongue. He even gave us a very detailed explanation of how the male cow tongue tastes and how the female cow tongue tastes. He explained that the male is softer to cook and the female takes longer to cook. And he has also explained the different prices of what he sells. He told us that he gets his meat from Okoaba at Agege, and he has also explained how the business has been since the beginning of the year. He has also told us how the customers are not coming in like before, and he has also said that he does not have anything to say to the government because he has been hoping on the government for many years now. Come with me as to talk to other traders in this market. Good morning, ma. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Adewi Aisha.
Okay, so what do you sell in this market?
Dry pepper, all kind of dry pepper.
How about fresh pepper?
My sister own. This is the owner of the fresh pepper.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay, so now, how has business been since the beginning of this year?
The business this year is not okay. But last year is okay. The market is not moving because there's no money.
So how do you sell? How do you sell this pepper?
Is it bag or we are sharing it? Quarter, half bag, paint rubber, bath and so on. Derica.
Okay, so give me the price of everything like that, ranging from derica to bag to a quarter.
Bag is 220. So now half bag is 60 times 220, 110. Half is 110. White quarter is 55. What else? Paint rubber, the rate is 2,000. Paint rubber, we are selling it 9,000, 10,000. Depend on paint. There's the one of paint, big paint, the one of small paint.
So if you compare the prices you've told me now to the price of last month, has it increased? Has the price increased or reduced?
No, it's reduced now because the season of this market. So we are not in fresh pepper. Fresh one is plenty now. Why this one is going? The time of the new one will come on September, so it will come down very okay. But now it's going because it's last year pepper we are selling now. Am I true?
Okay, so do customers still come to buy like before?
No, because we are in the season of fresh one, so the market is not moving. It's for just people that want, if they cannot cook without dry one, and those that are using it for this. That's what.
All right. Thank you very much, ma. We have heard what Ms. Adeoye has to say concerning the prices of dried pepper that she sells in this market. She has talked to us about how the price has increased over the years and over months. She compared the price between last month and this month, and of course the price has reduced. She also talked to us about how the price always reduces whenever it's the season of this pepper. She has also given us details that it's more cheaper to buy fresh pepper now because this is the season of fresh pepper. So fresh pepper is cheaper to buy in the market. Come with me as we talk to other traders in this market. Good morning, ma. How you doing? Okay, so what's your name?
Naja Shadlat.
Okay, so what do you sell in this market?
Fish.
What kind of fish?
Titus, Kote, Croca, Panla, egg, and so on and so forth.
So those fish that you mentioned, the fishes you mentioned, can you give us like the price of those fishes?
The Titus origin of Titus 30 kg, but it's 160 something thousand. One carton. Kote 71,000. Egg 48,000. Alaska 42,500. Croca, that's 92,000.
So with these prices you've mentioned, how has the business been since the beginning of this year?
It's too much. The price is too much. Better than last year. But this year, incredible. No, it's too much. It's too much.
So do you know what's making the price of this of this fishes to go up?
I don't know. I don't know the thing will happen. Just go up. I don't know. Whether now our government too, I don't know.
So if you with these prices that you've given me, if you compare the prices of the fishes now and last month, has the price increased or reduced?
Every month increase.
So like how much did you sell all of them last month?
Last month, the difference is small, but now go up. Last month up. Since January, okay, but after January, go up.
So for how long have you been selling it in this market?
Per kilo or what?
So for how long have you been selling fish in this market?
But now my own, I know, but I don't know the another person. Yeah. More than over 40 years.
Are you serious? If you compare it then and now, how is the business?
Before 1987, I buy one carton of Titus 25 kg 190. 190 naira. Pala, that's 3 kg. 30 kg. I bought it 240. 240 naira. 1986, 85, 87. But
so when the business was still good, like when the market was still moving at that time, like how much do you sell in a day?
a carton, Abi.
Yes, like how many cartons do you sell in a day?
I sell whether now 20 carton a day. I sell it.
How about now?
Whether 15 carton or more than that.
Okay. So is there anything you want the government to do about the situation of things right now in this market?
Government? I don't know anything about that.
All right, thank you very much, ma. We have heard what Alaja Sanad had to say concerning what she sells in this market. She sells fish in the market and she has been selling fish for over 40 years. She has given us a breakdown of how the market has been since when she started up to this point. She has complained about the price of this fish. She even gave us the different types from Titus to egg to other different types of fishes. She has also compared the price of last month and this month. She also told us that the price of fish at every month, and she has also described how the market has been, how the customers have reduced as a result of the increase in price. Come with me as we talk to other traders in this market. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Fine.
Okay, so what's your name?
My name is Yemi.
So what do you sell in this market?
My meat na the sale for Mushin.
What kind of meat is this?
This one I test time.
Intestine.
Yeah.
Okay, so from cow.
Cow meat, yeah.
Okay, so can you give us like a price range of how much?
It's cause you now before this is said it that buy cow that test the cow. Before I buy this one 70, 50, but now 150, 180. Just test for your cow.
So how has business been since the beginning of this year?
No market, everything don't dry. No market. Now because it don't cost.
So how do you sell it? Like when somebody comes to buy now, how do you sell it? How do you break it down to sell it for someone? What's the cheapest price anybody can buy this intestine?
Just then we call this one. Not before now I sell on this one 3,000. I sell on 2,500. Now I sell on 4,000.
How about this one?
This liver, I'll sell this one to 2,000. Yeah. This heart, I'll sell this one 3,500. This our body, I'll sell this one 3,000. Different. This one about Mafuku.
What's making the price of these intestines go up like this?
All of them are there.
Yes.
All of them now, I don't take that. I sell at 150, 180. It's sell. I'll buy it 2,000. Now before, how much you buy this one before? 70, yeah, 70, 60, 80. If this Malu is too cost, just only one cow. They buy only one cow, 2 million, 2 million, 1 million, 1.5, 3 million, just only one cow. That's why it's too much.
So where do you buy yours from?
Now,
Yes, where do you buy yours from? Where do you buy your own intestine that you sell from?
I need to buy now. The person I don't want to buy. My person want to buy. I would say it. But I bought a cow, no market.
And like where do you buy these ones that you say? Where do you bring it from?
For abattoir,
Where? Which abattoir?
for Agege.
Okay.
For about the abattoir slab.
So like how much you sell in a day if market is good?
This one I buy to tell it before I'll buy four knockout, 5 knockout. So but now 2 cow now I don't buy. Na put no market. That's the buy now. So but now before I buy 3, 5. But now 2 cow now I don't buy. From Agege they buy.
So what are the problems you face selling in this market?
That's very good. That's the problem. That problem now they tell you. It's no market. Everything cost. Now because that meat, everything do is cost well. I'll better that government come and produce market, then produce money. Come and effort for that people is there for inside market. Now you need to say it. I'll beg of the government. Come and reason people in the food market. Everything don't cost you. It costs well. So many people now they buy this one. So many people now they buy this one. How much you buy this one before? Now 3,000, 2,000, 1,500. Now it's buy 3,000 naira. People will get children, get anything. You get children. How many you buy? You buy 3, you buy 4. Just want to buy 12,000. Now not to buy 5,000. You buy 12,000. That I'll pity anybody now they buy this one. That of course it costs. Because I'll beg your government. Come and produce everything. Everything come down. That's why it's so high.
Thank you very much, sir. We have heard what Mr. Yemi at Mission Market has to say concerning the prices of what he sells. He has complained about how the prices of these intestines have affected sales and purchase from his customers. He has also explained to us where he gets his meat from, and he's also calling on the government to come and intervene and do something quick before it deteriorates. I am still at Irekpadu Market located at Mushin, Lagos, and we've heard what the traders of various food items in the market have to say concerning the price, concerning how the business is also going. We have learned a lot, ranging from the different types of tomatoes, different types of egusi, different kinds of fish and other food items in the market. We have also talked to them about what they want the government to do for them, and that's all we can take on today's episode of Market Today on ConsumerHallaTV. Until next time, I am Matilda Omenai. Bye for now.
Performance by Nigerians. Two major policy reforms that characterized his administration with an overarching impact on the economy in the last 2 years, which are the removal of oil subsidy and the unification of forex regime. The development immediately led to high manufacturing costs, hyperinflation, and lifestyle adjustment for Nigerians. However, Nigeria's economy performance in the first half of 2025 seemed to have shown positive signs, with gross domestic product growth estimated at 3.7% and a stabilization of the foreign exchange rate. Although inflation remains a challenge, it is equally beginning to show signs of easing, according to recently released data and statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics and the International Monetary Fund (IMF). The NBS released figures and said Nigeria's gross domestic product grew by 3.13% year-on-year in real terms in the first quarter of 2025. The growth also showed a remarkable improvement from the 2.27% growth recorded in the first quarter of 2024 and reflected the continued resilience of the economy underpinned by strong performances in the services and industry sector. The International Monetary Fund has also projected that Nigeria's economy will grow faster than that of the United Kingdom, UK, and several advanced economies in 2025, following an upward revision of the country's gross domestic product growth forecast from 3.0 to 3.4%. The revised projection was contained in the IMF latest World Economic Outlook report released on Tuesday, the 29th of June 2025, and it marks a 0.4 percentage point increase from the fund's April 2025 estimate and places Nigeria ahead of countries like the UK with 1.2%, Germany with figure 0.1%, and Canada with 1.6%, and the United States with 1.9% in terms of expected economic expansion. The report comes on the heels of a rebasing exercise conducted by Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics (NBS), which updated the country's GDP to 372.8 trillion, equivalent to $243 billion in 2024, from 314.02 trillion in the previous year. However, the recalculation was attributed to the inclusion of a broader range of informal sector activities. Despite the upward revision, however, Nigeria remains the fourth largest economy in Africa, behind South Africa, Egypt, and Algeria. Some positive development in the economy first half of this year 2025 include the gross domestic product growth of 3.7% compared with 3.40% as of June 2024. The exchange rate, however, stability following the adoption of the unified exchange rate between the official and parallel market, moderating inflation from 34.3%, that is 34.3% in March, to 22.97% in June, and the increased crude oil production to over 1.5 million barrels per day as at June. The ICT and manufacturing sectors have equally shown strong growth, while the Nigerian market have thereby sustained a bullish path for the past 6 months. The Nigeria exchange was reported to have gained 22.14 trillion in market capitalization in the first half of 2025, pushing its valuation to 85.46 trillion, driven by investor confidence strengthened amid macroeconomic conditions and corporate performance. And now to talk today about this development and more insight, join me as I welcome Mrs. Matilda Ade Falujo. She's an investment research analyst of Meristem Securities Limited. Good morning, Mrs. Matilda. Mrs. Matilda, good morning. Okay. Good morning, Mrs.
Good morning.
Matilda.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning, and thanks for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me, and happy new one.
Happy New Month. I was about saying that. And also on the program this morning, let's welcome Mrs. Dumebi Oluwole. She is a senior economist at TIERS. It's a pleasure to have you, Mrs. Dumebi Oluwole. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me, and happy new month as well.
Happy New Month. Happy New Month. Okay, on the program today, I have combination of beauty and brain, and of course, we have to just explore it out. Women of valor on the program. Without wasting so much of our time this morning, let's get on to the conversation this beautiful morning. Starting with U-boats, how will you assess the current economic development in Nigeria in the last 2 years?
Okay, I can start off and then Matilda will continue from there. I would say it's been a period of obviously reforms, and more importantly, a significant shift in the Nigerian economy, from where we're coming from some 8, 10 years ago and today. So there has been a very stark difference in certain economic structures, starting from the foreign exchange markets, to the downstream petroleum sector, to the central bank as well. So there has been a lot of change, and we're seeing a lot more positive responses from the international community regarding some of the necessary changes that Nigeria has made. In terms of the consumer aspect, we do know that some of these changes have been very painful. And so we've seen a huge change or huge spike in commodity prices, that have impacted, household income, living standards. So I'll say pretty much there has been a lot of, change in Nigeria's economic structure, and we're in a period of, again, change, reforms, just before we get into that point of, economic stability and then transformation.
Mm. All right. Okay. Interesting one there. Mrs. Maltida, are you in? What's your take about what Mrs. Dumebi just said? You're
I
aligning
mean,
with her.
just like she has said, I think that in the last 2 years, we've mostly had something I'll call a necessary reset, where, although painful, so many reforms have been undertaken. We've seen removal of fuel subsidy, we've seen even tighter monetary policy, stance by the monetary authorities, floating of the naira, different things that, initially and also to the consumers, they felt painful. They felt like they squeezed the wallet. But just like you maybe said, they are necessary. They are they are necessary. I would say actions that are needed to stabilize macro fundamentals. Um, we also saw inflation, increase, spiked so much, and food inflation also hits like very painful levels. And you see it in the day to day. Market prices have doubled, transport fares have jumped, as a result of these different reforms. But I think that it's just a necessary step to where we ought to be, or where we are trying to get to in terms of stability. So yeah, I believe that we still have a long way to go in terms of ensuring that all of these different actions culminate now into something that is visible and I would say enjoyable by the consumers at the end of the day.
Mm. Right. That's also an interesting one. Now let me turn to Mrs. Dumebi Duwole. The IMF recently increased the economic outlook of Nigeria. What will be the implications of these for Nigerians at large? Mrs. Dumebi, over to you now.
Yeah, so I think first of all, it's extremely important for us to know that a lot of times when these changes are made, there's no direct impact, right, on consumers, at least at the first glance, because this is pretty much just a signaling change, right? And just based off of everything we discussed earlier in terms of the change in Nigeria's, macroeconomic structure, in terms of the policy environment, how that has how that is starkly different from where we're coming from. All of this has fed into investor sentiment, has fed into business sentiment, and to some extent, even consumer sentiments, right? And that's what exactly the IMF is feeding off of. because they have seen over time, at least with the last 2 years, that we're taking up the necessary changes that should positively impact GDP growth in the near term, right? And that's exactly what they're feeding into. That's exactly the sentiment that's feeding into the upward revision. Now, whether or not that is going to have an impact on consumers, um, is going to obviously take some time for that to manifest in terms of like improved standard of living. And by improved standard of living, pretty much we're looking at reduced costs, right? So before that is going to obviously materialize, it will definitely take some time. But what this has done is that it has somewhat the IMF has somewhat supported what Nigeria is doing. And what that will do eventually is considerably put Nigeria in a good standing with international investors, right? Because if the IMF says that this is what is likely to be for the Nigerian economy, and this is also somewhat backed by the World Bank, which are very strong multilateral investors um, and lenders for developing and emerging markets, and their say so usually would somewhat support or provide some rally in terms of Nigeria maybe deciding to say raise an additional bond, or maybe go into the international debt market again, or just pretty much investors that have been interested in Nigeria, just kind of that will obviously just support their decision to bring in capital. So it not until that begins to happen, and the chain reaction is the IMF has revised Nigeria's GDP growth upwards. Investors are incentivized to bring in funds into Nigeria. They eventually do so and say they invest more in, for instance, let's say the agricultural sector or the manufacturing sector. That then eventually would lead to an increase in employment, an increase in output that would further support, output growth, reduce prices in commodities, support the exports, support and uplift the economy. But then again, this is not something that would happen in just 1 year, right? We're looking at a period of 3 to 5 years for it to eventually like manifest and people begin to really feel the impact of large scale capital coming into the country.
All right, that's an interesting one. Well, answering the question the other minute, you said investors are being trying about bringing funds to Nigeria with other development. In this perspective, what do you think the government needs to do more to realize that the project growth by the IMF needs to come up better?
I mean, it starts off with commitment to just doing the right thing. I would say that in terms of the fiscal space, we have seen certain changes in terms of government spending priorities, right? We've heard a lot of infrastructure development projects coming up with heavy focus on road and rail infrastructure. But there's a lot more that still needs to happen, right? For investors to really know that Nigeria is really ready to do business. But that does not sideline the fact that, in terms of policy signaling, we're somewhat doing the right things. A very good example is the recent tax reforms that was signed into law. That alone is a very good signal for investors to bring in capital, right? Supported by what the IMF is now doing, saying that Nigeria's GDP is going to expand, and then before the IMF even said that there was an upward revision from one of the credit rating agencies, and putting all of that together, that just signals to investors that Nigeria is somewhat getting into the game again. And for the government, I will say, number one, just to keep ensuring that, number one, the policy environment is stable and to some extent predictable. Number two, they prioritize sectors that are going to uplift people from poverty and eventually support strong, food supply, support strong output growth, and eventually, continually boost Nigeria's GDP. And what these sectors really look like are agriculture, manufacturing, and to some extent technology, right? The other aspect of it is strong support for small scale small and medium scale enterprises. And the reason why this is very important is because, like most developing nations, SMEs contribute over 30% to Nigeria's GDP and employ over 80%, right, of Nigerian workforce. So if those small to medium scale enterprises are suffering, maybe from the reforms or whatever the case may be, their ability to scale, their ability to employ more, it becomes handicapped, right? So extreme or extreme support from the government or aggressive support from the government in that regard will be very, very good. The final thing as well is budget priorities, right? We still haven't seen that significant push or significant change from the government in terms of their mindset towards government spending. And what that looks like is we're still seeing very high focus on recurrent expenditure. And even the content of recurrent expenditure is still cause for concern in the eyes of investors. When you see things like SUVs or renovation of the VP's villa, things like that, it somewhat signals to investors that there's a disassociation between how the government is addressing their own needs vis-a-vis the pain that Nigerians are going through, right? Because the expectation is that when you undertake reforms and people are the consumers who are the hardest hit by this, the expectation is that in terms of governance as well, we should see trim down in government expenditure towards recurrent expenses that ideally, and I boldly say this, do not make sense, right? Things that we do not actually need. So not until there's a lot more signaling and confidence boosting in that regard, we will still see investors, take that cautious approach to investing in Nigeria.
Right, that's a very interesting one, I must say. Before I move over to the both of you right now, while answering the question, you made mention about budget priorities, and that brings this question: what can the government do to stabilize the expenditure of budget priorities?
I don't think there's much thinking here, and Matilda can also step in, to give her perspective. I think it's just a matter of what needs to be done that should be done, right? If we're going to rip the band-aid off when it comes to reforms and pretty much just say this has to be done, then I don't think it's a question of how they should think about prioritizing their budget. There are things that need to be done in the Nigerian economy today. We need hospitals, we need better schools, we need better infrastructure, and that's going to be things that would definitely have a positive multiplier effect on the economy. To provide and ensure that the Nigerian workforce is healthy, Nigerian people are educated, and there are good roads and good, infrastructure for businesses to thrive. I think that's where we need to put more of the focus on. And over the years, and it's not just with this administration, we've seen that happen over the years. Those priorities are just not there. Um, of course, the expectation is that those things will change. And even when they do change, the expectation is that they should be sustained, because you do not want a situation where there's a change in administration and we revert back to our old ways, right? So I don't think it's a question of what they should be thinking about. I just think it's common
Mm.
sense. I just think it's common sense. We are seeing a very very good example of this is what is currently happening in Ghana, right? If we're ripping the band-aid off on putting reforms on people, fiscal consolidation is the way to go. And again, I'm saying this very boldly, it's just common sense. There's really not much to talk about here on what the government should be thinking about and what exactly we should be doing. Like I mentioned, one of the reasons why we have this large trust deficit between the government and the people is because the people do not think that the people that are in places of authority for them really do have their best interest at heart, right? So while on an economic level, on a macro level, we are doing the right things, on a people level, right, it doesn't feel that way because um you still see, government authorities traveling to the UK for medical care. What does that signal to the common man, right? these are some of the things that I think that will show investors and will show the larger business community and also show consumers that, oh, the government wants to do the right thing for us. By the time they start seeing, they're investing in hospitals in certain areas, state governors are investing in proper schools, proper education facilities, uplifting the educational curriculum to actually capture the current skills that exist today in the world. It's again, just so I don't really go on and on about this, I just think it's common sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, now, Mrs. Matilda De Falujo, are you in alignment with what Mrs. Tumebi Olwole is saying, talking about the budget priorities?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with her. It's not about what the government should be doing. It's about what they ought to do. Like what's like what is their mandate? What are they prioritizing? In economics, you hear things like economic output and economic growth is not necessarily about the numbers. It's not necessarily about GDP is better, GDP is 3.13% or is growing at 3.13% from so number last year. It's more of how is this trickling down into the welfare of citizens. Like it's welfare economics right now, not just numbers. I always like to talk about the marriage between numbers and narratives. Like how is this number on paper translating into my welfare? How is it making me better? What impact does it have on my pocket? So the government, I believe, should not really be chasing, oh, let's make inflation better on paper. Are prices better? Are prices better in the market? Are they actually lower? Can my wage, my salary, can it actually buy what I used to buy 2 years ago, 3 years ago? So those are things that I believe that should be at the forefront. So even in the planning of the budget, we should be seeing more of capital, infrastructure development rather than focusing so much on what is recurrent and does not necessarily translate into as much value, right? Unemployment is high. However, you look at it, there are youth that are still unemployed. Sustainable growth, I don't necessarily think is as sustainable as it ought to be. So while yes, on paper there is, I mean, the government is doing a lot, and it looks like they are really, really doing a lot. But how does this translate into value? How does this translate into the welfare of the common citizen? I think these are the things that we should take care of. Even if we are even looking at metrics, these are the things I believe that should be um metrics to actually know if the government is doing what it ought to do.
That's
Sorry, just to
perfect. I
even
mean,
piggyback of
mm,
what Matilda said, sorry. We have the national income equation, right? Y is
Mm-hmm.
equal to C I plus G
Let's
plus
see.
X minus A.
Minus
And
M.
pretty much that is output is equal to consumption plus investment
Mm-hmm.
plus government spending plus net exports, right?
Export.
Now, on the consumption side, and this is just to help paint a picture of what we're talking about in terms of budget priorities and perspectives, and whether these GDP numbers we're seeing really make sense, right? So, in terms of consumption, our consumption, household consumption, has actually declined on an average level from exports, right? That's the I function, right? So and in the last couple of years, we've seen our I function tilt more towards short-term inflows, not long-term. So what that tells us is that we're also lagging in terms of the I function. Now the G function is pretty much government spending, right? And remember, in looking at governance and the political economy, where it intertwines with macroeconomy is the government is a catalyst, right, for economic growth. So if the government is not spending in a way that will be profitable, right, or that would catalyze economic growth, then what that means is that spending is inefficient, right? And we've seen that happen over the last couple of years where our G function is not actually catalyzing growth. What it does is that it just increases money supply because we're spending more on recurrent expenditure, and an increase in money supply eventually, right, increases inflation, right? Because we just have too much money in the economy chasing too few goods. Rather than so what that G function should be instead is the government saying, okay, they're gonna um, 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 maybe invest in road infrastructure, and before you know it, there's some, private public partnership going on there to further take that, project to the next level. The government think they're going to support small scale enterprises, or even, companies within the agricultural space and manufacturing space, to further again catalyze growth in that sector. So we haven't seen that ideology manifest in government spending, right? So that's why this conversation around budget priorities is extremely important, because again, government spending should be a catalyst to further nudge the I function. Remember the stable I function, FDIs, right? To improve,
Mm.
their capital to the economy. So if the G function is not, in the Gen Z language, if it's not giving, if it's not functioning, right? Necessarily, you can't necessarily expect the I function to come in well. You will see more of the
Mm.
short-term coming in because they are responding to how the government is spending, right? And all two of them, the I function and the G function, determine how well the C function will perform.
Yeah.
That's perfect. With your analysis, that shows that just like Mrs. Maltida Adifa Lujo said the other time, that it's about welfare economics, not just numbers. That's a brilliant one. With the positive economic outlook, now Mrs. Maltida Adifa Lujo, with the positive economic outlook as presented by the indices and the current level of economic well-being of Nigerians, what do you think is the missing link at the moment and we need to get on and act on right now, immediately?
No, I think that's even in the midst of our conversation, we've kind of alluded to it. So I think the missing link here is, I would say inclusion. It's, I mean, when in terms of stabilization, trying to control on paper inflation, trying to improve investor sentiment, we've been able to achieve some level of stability with that. But now, how is that translating into, how does it bring everybody? What we need now mostly is inclusive growth, which I do not think that we've necessarily got into. When you let's even do a survey. Let's assume that we go to say a Sabo market or a Mount 12 or Imbo market, and you ask them how food prices are actually, faring, how they've been trading. They'll always tell you, oh, dollar is dollar is